On Two Wheels this week, Jeff goes to Bike Live 2001, a brand new show in Warwickshire. But first, I spend a day with the Yorkshire Police. Recently, I was invited to spend a day with the South Yorkshire Police motorcycle wing. Another day of interviews in a cold, damp garage. Well, actually, no. A day out on patrol, riding a pan-European, complete with blues and twos. OK, Chris, then what exactly have I let myself in for here today?
Well, we never take anything for granted. So we're going to start off and see if you can actually ride a motorcycle.
All right, OK.
So we'll go out into the city, nice low speeds, have a look at you getting used to the bike, see if you can handle the bike, because it's quite a heavy lump.
Yeah.
OK, we'll build you up, look at some basic positioning, basic disciplined ride, and then if you're going all right, we'll build up into some 40, 50 limits and then go out to the national speed limits and look at some cornering.
Right. When do I get to put my blue lights and my doo-doos on? That's what I want to know.
If you're a very good boy and you buy lunch,
oh, I can sort that out.
Then we might have a look at some nurners on for you.
All right. Well, is this the bike I'm using? This
is the bike you're going to use, yeah.
Fully marked up with the
pan-European, yeah.
All the bells and whistles and everything. Yeah?
Everything's there. You leave everything alone,
yeah,
apart from...
You're not going to tell me where the blue lights...
No,
where's the blue lights in the
you
horn?
don't get to play with those until later on.
Right, OK.
PTT button for the radio, OK.
Push to talk.
That's it, so you need one of our helmets.
Is that the headlamp flashing normally, isn't it?
It would be normally,
right,
yeah.
OK.
So we do, this is all combed up.
Yeah.
We just plug that into this here, and then when you want to talk to me, press that, and you'll be able to hear me coming through both speakers and helmet.
Right, and I can talk back to you as well?
Yes.
Right.
If you've got time.
If I've got time? What do you mean if I've got time?
One of these.
I need one of them. Has that got police on the back?
Nope.
No, all right.
Not yet.
Don't get to keep it then, right.
We'll swear you in later.
Right, so where are we going first? City? Built
yeah,
up,
we're going to go through town centre, out on a nice, big, busy road, I know, where there's plenty of shops and students and pedestrian crossings and lots of stuff to make you work. Right. And then we'll go out a little bit further, up into the countryside.
Am I leading all the way, or are you leading? What's the...
You'll go in front to start off with.
Right.
Let me have a look at you. Don't worry about my position. You'll just ride for yourself. I'll dodge about. Right. Have a look at your riding style, and then if we've got a bit of a problem, I'll maybe nip in front and just say follow on behind me, and so within half a mile I'll be in front.
Hey, we'll see. Right,
okay,
let's get on with it. And so, after a quick check of our comms units, it was out onto the city streets, with Chris constantly rabbiting down my ear.
Paul, we're going to little ride out, just to familiarise ourselves with the size of the pan-European, get the feel of it. We'll go through some built-up areas and we'll look at just basic positioning on the road, trying to get you to be extending observations forwards and sideways in both left and right, trying to find a midway position between your dangers, and that could be curb to curb if the road's empty, for instance, or near side curb to offside of vehicles approaching you. Always looking for that midway ground. I want to see is a nice lateral move side to side rather than a sharp move. That would indicate you haven't seen something till the last minute.
See what I mean? And I had another 7 hours of this to look forward to. But eventually we left the city and headed out towards the countryside, where speeds increased and Chris kept on talking. Well, actually, his aim was to improve my observations, to make me look further ahead and be more aware of what was going on around me. Now, this might look like the perfect biking road, but unless you set yourself up in the correct position for the bends, you'll eventually run into trouble. And this was something that Chris was keen for me to get right. It's surprising how quickly you can progress just by being in the right place on the road. Then, after about 4 hours or so on the road, it was back to base for a quick check on my progress. OK, Chris, brew time. Much needed, I have to say. 4.5 hours in the saddle. Have I made all the normal mistakes?
Well, I've been doing a lot of talking, haven't I?
You do an awful lot of talking. I can't believe how much talking you do. Is it just because it's me you're talking?
Well, what happens is when you start your course, obviously I'm trying to correct lots and lots of little faults. So I'm talking at you an awful lot, trying to get your observations up to make you see stuff a little bit earlier.
You're driving me mad.
So the more I'm talking, the worse you're doing.
You'd be dying, but you'd be better if you just shut up and let me get on with it, because you're constantly rabbiting.
Yeah. What it is, it's trying to get your concentration, observation levels enhanced. Right. So that when we go out, first of all, you're running into stuff and you're kind of thinking what's in front of you. Well, what I'm doing is I'm looking down the road in time to see something, interpret that, so I can tell you, so you can react to it. Yeah. So by the time I've told you something, you react to it, I've seen it a little bit further.
Right, I see.
All right. So we're trying to bring the observations up.
Okay.
That's the main fault. And everyone exhibits the same
Well, it's
faults.
working. You said they've been deaf as well, but it's working. But I mean, am I making the normal mistakes? What are the normal mistakes? What's...
Yeah, the basics that any rider will exhibit, and that's irrespective of being civilian or police officer. They'll come along and they'll be a little bit too quick. Their observations are low, and that means you end up running into stuff and you end up with an erratic ride. Whereas what we're looking for is, as you're changing your position, the change has to be nice and smooth, lateral movement.
You were saying about a swan.
Yeah, that's the swan syndrome.
To a swan. Go on, explain that to me again.
If you're trying to picture out there the swan on the river, and it looks all smooth and tranquil and calm, yeah, but underneath, what are its feet doing?
Oh, they'll be going like the clappers, won't
Yeah,
they?
that's right. So what we want is, from the advanced rider, we want a person to see the advanced rider on his bike, going down the road, in control, nice and smooth, lateral movements. But upstairs, he's thinking at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
What's that car going to do? Is that person getting in and out of the car? Brake lights, smoke from the exhaust. What's that kiddie doing? What's the dog on the other side of the road? And all this stuff's coming at you in time to put the bike on the right place at the road at the right speed.
Right, I see. Okay, so what have I got to look forward to this afternoon?
Well, we're going to do a little bit more work on cornering. We did a little bit earlier on. What we found is that you were going a little bit shallow.
Okay.
So if I just try and explain to you on here. So we've got a series of bends. Be nice bends, these, wouldn't they?
They'd be great then, wouldn't they?
Okay.
I'd rather not be doing them on a pan-European, though.
Yeah. So what you've been doing is, so we're coming down this way, coming to a left-hand curve, okay? So we need to get the bike out towards the centre of the road.
Okay.
And that's going to increase your view around the curve.
Yeah.
What you've been doing is, you've been coming at it a little bit too much to your near side, a central position like this. Then the last minute, when I've been, you know, if you realised, you've moved out. But then, of course, that puts you on a longer route round. What we want to do is get your view up, okay, and plenty of time, so you get your course sorted out back here. So we get a nice straight run in, okay, then hold the line tight, going around the curve until you get to this point. You can see around the apex to where the road's going. Then at this point, okay, then we can drift back into the near side, because we're going to be going into a right-hand curve. And again, you keep it near side till you can see around the corner, okay, and as soon as you can see around the corner, we can then modify the course to come back to a central position for your basic safety position.
I see.
Whereas what you've been doing, you're going into it a little bit late and then drifting across the apex. So you come at it here and you will be drifting across like that before you can actually see around the curve.
Okay.
So we just work on
racing
that
line, that's my excuse.
Yeah, but not on a pan.
Not on a pan-European. Right, okay, so are we going to hit the city streets then this afternoon?
Well, we'll build a little bit more on the basics, go back out through town, nice bit of heavy town work. You want to turn the blue lights on,
I want to turn the blue lights on at the halls, of course I do.
You haven't bought any snap yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
Oh, well, get some snap, then we might look at blue lights.
Go and get the butties in now?
Next door, yeah.
Right.
Good place.
Okay, I'm off.
And yes, I did buy lunch. And no, I didn't claim it on expenses. But the afternoon saw us out on patrol. But police work is not all high-speed pursuits and bank robberies. There's the more routine jobs, such as issuing parking tickets, and it does make you feel powerful, you know. Then we had a van which looked like its back axle was about to collapse. So a quick word and some rearranging of the load, and he was safely on his way. I even got to play with a laser gun, but I'll tell you more about that on another day. You know, I definitely learned an awful lot during the day. Chris started to talk less and less, so I guess I must have got better and better. It's certainly an experience having a policeman on your tail for 8 hours, but well worth it if it helps to improve your standard of riding. And in case you're wondering, yes, I did get to play with the blue lights.
Chris, what can I say? Fantastic.
You enjoy that?
I like the blue lights. If you'd have had a microphone in my helmet, I was going woo like a big kid. Fantastic.
You don't need the siren then, do you?
That's great. What an adrenaline rush. Do you still get an adrenaline rush when you put the lights on?
Yeah, you've got to, really.
After all these years?
I mean, you're concentrating so hard on what you're doing, and it's not necessarily speed either. You're making progress, so you might not be going too quick, but your senses are so alert because you're looking for the dangers coming in left, right, in front of you, what people are doing, because they don't always react how you expect them to when you're approaching to them. Right. So you really, it's kind of like being in an arcade game. You feel as though you're actually inside the game because you're looking for everything happening, coming at you all this time. and you can't help but get an adrenaline rush.
It's great.
Just
I loved
away.
it. It was like a
as
big,
long as it
big
doesn't,
kid. Oh, as long as that doesn't take over
to
you.
a red mist kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, so all day now I've been with you. All right, we've not done any proper police work. I mean, I've not done the things that you do in your normal daily life, but as far as riding the bike goes, go on, how did it go on? Tell me the truth.
What's that Anne Robinson says? You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Come on, tell me.
Well, we started off, didn't we, on that nice, slow, steady ride out. Let you get yourself
Can I just say,
familiarised with the
first
bike.
of all, I felt like I was on my test all over again.
Well, a bit of pressure's done.
It's bad enough having a policeman following you when he's just following you, but when you know he's watching you riding and he's rabbiting in your ear like you were all the time. It's there's a lot of pressure on you.
There's bound to be.
That's my excuse anyway.
It's
So how did it go on?
Well, we started off. We looked at just basic positioning in a built-up environment,
Yeah.
and you seem to get your head around that quite quickly. I thought, a little bit of prompting from me to move the bike left or right, bring your observations up, and after about 15-20 minutes, I could start to see you looking up and looking left and right and taking in more things coming in at you from near to and out in the peripheries a little bit more. And you started moving the bike earlier. So the further we got into the ride, the earlier you were in the right position to cater for all these various threats that are coming at us.
Right.
Not that we had to take any action, but it's thinking about what might happen.
Okay. So a police motorcyclist, how long does he train? Is it about 6 weeks or something?
It's the initial advanced course is 3 weeks.
Right.
But bearing in mind, of course, you're in the saddle all the time.
Okay.
So that you usually get an instructor and 3 pupils. So you have your turn on point, you go to the bike, but you can't relax.
Right.
Because you've got to keep up with the guys, and B, the instructor's still watching you anyway.
Right, so they're doing hours and hours and hours, day after day after day. I've only done a day, 8 hours we've done on the bike. Am I average? Am I what you would expect?
I think once you got your head round the bike and got used to the size, the bulk of the thing, and we then got into a more disciplined and systematic ride, it started coming on quite nicely. When we looked at the cornering, and initially you were going into them a little bit late for your initial position, and you were tended to drift across the apex. We started towards the end of the day, getting to the position nice and early, and you were keeping that position nice and tight until you could see around the apex of the corner, and then look for that position for the next corner. So it was all starting to come along quite well.
So I improved as the day went on.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Right. I would say.
Have I got potential then, you think? Is there potential for being a police rider?
Yeah, I'll put you on about day 3 of first week of a 3-week course there, which isn't bad on your first day.
Is that good?
That's good, that. Yeah.
That's good. Right, fantastic. Well, have you got any more jobs then? I've had a great day. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Just over there's a power wash.
Oh yeah. This.
That's your bike. You've got to clean it, mate.
Right.
And, oh, by the way, instructor's bike gets cleaned as well.
Oh.
So you've got 2.
I'll go and switch it on.
We'll have a brew.
Flipping power wash, instructor's bike first. What's he talking about? Yes. Right, come on then, who's next?
Actually, Chris let me off with cleaning the bikes. But coming up after the break, Jeff is at Bike Live 2001.
Bike shows, there's loads of them about. You see them everywhere. But how, as an organiser, do you go about setting one up? We're here at Bike Live, which is at the National Agricultural Centre in Warwickshire. But if you were the organiser and you're faced with a foot and mouth epidemic and it was snowing first thing in the morning, you must be a bit worried. But let's have a word with him. His name's Chaz Mitchell.
Now, Chaz, how are you? You're not looking too bad.
Well,
A bit red round the eyes.
Jeff, I think I can just about see it clearly out of both eyes, but it's touch and go at the moment.
Yeah, it's been quite a thing, hasn't it? I mean, you've been up all night, haven't you, setting this up?
Well, it's last minute panics, things that you just want to try and get right, and then out on the streets putting road signs up as you do.
Yeah, and no matter how carefully you plan, you don't plan for a foot and mouth epidemic, obviously, do you?
No, I hadn't actually envisaged that one, but I mean, to be fair, I'm sure the farmers hadn't either. I mean, a lot of people have phoned us because they find it strange that here we are at the NAC, and we're running a bike show in the middle of a foot and mouth epidemic.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, it is the National Agricultural Centre in Warwickshire. I haven't had a bike show here before, so what made you pick on this? What went through your planning?
Yeah, not a bike show of this type. I came, in fact, we're in the Strollers restaurant here, Jeff. I came to Stoneleigh last May for their open day. We flew over the site in a helicopter, and I just said to them, we're doing a bike show here. I don't know what it's called, I don't know when I'm doing it, but I'm doing a bike show here. Put me down for one.
Yeah, what was that? Just because you had plenty of space and you had enclosed exhibition
the space was here. I had a really, really good feeling for the venue.
Yeah.
It's absolutely slap central in the middle of the country, and I thought, it's just got to be done.
There's a considerable investment in these things. I know you wouldn't want to tell me how much, but just for our viewers, I think they'd be interested. Is there around sort of an estimate? Is it more than more than a few thousand?
If you were looking at putting on a show of this nature seriously, then you are heading towards, if not going through, six figures.
Did you look on the sort of Midlands and sort of, well, that could do with the show because there isn't one close to the massive centre of Birmingham?
I didn't really. When we're always looking at shows, we're looking for venues, and sometimes it works well that it's very, very central, such as Stoneleigh.
Yeah.
But other times we've had great shows down at Exeter. I do a lot of work for Bewley, and of course we're right down on the coast there in Hampshire, just near Southampton.
Yeah.
And that works great, but of course all you've got coming over the channel, apart from a few bikers, are sort of ducks and fish. So, you know, you don't have to be central, you just have to put a good event on.
That's right, and you're tending, a lot of these shows, they're moving the event to the people instead of the people having to travel to the event.
Most certainly. Also, you're looking at the style of event. They want to see the 2001 models, and they've got them, you know, from all the majors. They're here today. They've got some bike engine cars, which are a bit of fun. We've got a fantastic BMX show. It's bike, okay, so I didn't say motorcycle, I just said bike. And the BMX guys here, and there's 9 riders putting on an amazing show.
And that's in the hall, is it?
That's in Hall 1.
Right.
And outside, of course, the usual stunt shows, which I like to be associated with. As you know, I manage Terry Grant, and he is like a total star. But we've got Kevin Carmichael, and Kevin's worth every penny, and Jason. I think a combination of those three, pretty hard to beat.
And now it's stopped snowing, we'll actually be able to see what they can do, won't we?
Do you mean I can take my wellies off at last?
At a bike show, I know what you're thinking, have they gone mad? This isn't a Westfield, this is yet another variation, but this one's got 2 ZX9 engines in. That's an 8-cylinder, if you can't count. And this bloke, Chris Allinson, is the man who's put it together. He's from Z Cars, and he modifies these Tiger cars. Have I got that the right way around, Chris?
Yeah, that's right. It's based on a Tiger race chassis, and we put 1 or 2 bike engines in whatever you want.
And how do these things come about? Because I know you've been involved in some motorsport, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been autograss racing for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
And for the last, well, all that time, I've built all my own cars. For the last 7 years, we've built twin-engined and single-engined, bike-powered autograss cars and sold 350 of them. Yeah. So we've got quite a bit of expertise.
A lot of nutters out there then.
The autograss labs there.
Well, the bike engines, I mean, they've got fantastic power-to-weight ratio. They're very efficient engines, aren't they, compared with the Kai stuff?
They are, tremendously. I mean, you're looking at 2 engines there, 150 kilos the way, 300 horsepower. Yeah. Can't beat it.
Well, I know from reading your little spec sheet, it's 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, 0 to 100 in 6.5 seconds. Yeah. I mean, this is into Formula 1 territory, isn't it?
It is, that's right. I mean, the new Arrows twin-seater that the corporate people use, it's 0 to 100 in 5.5 seconds, so we're only a second short of that.
So it's pretty close. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic performance. And who are buying them? Are they bikers?
Yeah, basically. I mean, there's a lot of bikers similar sort of age to myself, 40s. They've had bikes all their lives, maybe had a little accident, had a bad leg or something like that, so they can get into one of these, they can drive it, they still get the buzz, the noise, the thrill of the speed, but it is a little bit safer. And obviously it keeps the wife happy and they get their bit of fun as well.
And what's it like on a racetrack? Somewhat mega, you think?
Oh yeah, tremendous. I mean, you're going into corners like Redgates at Donington, 100 mile an hour, 4-wheel drift it in, bit of power on and slide it off the corner, 5th, 6th gear, through Craner curves at 120. It's better than sex. It really is.
Oh, magic stuff. So let's get down to the cost, because you can build this yourself, can you?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can buy the basic kit, which is everything you see here, less the engines. That's 17 grand plus the VAT. Right. You'd build a car realistically for yourself for about 22. Right. Or you can buy a turnkey car for 29,950. Right. So it's pound for horsepower, it's a cheap car.
And how about going one of these, then, eh?
I think you ought to.
Yeah, well, I think I ought to as well. So if we can arrange that sometime, is that all right?
That'd be absolutely super.
Okay, thanks. course, many bike stunt riders actually started out on BMX because you've got to start somewhere. And just check these guys out. One day, they might be bike stunt riders as well. Ah, look, a little monkey. But what's a monkey doing at a bike show? That's because there's monkey bikes here. This one's a standard one, straight as it comes from Honda, the fold-up bars, stick it in your boot, cost you about 850 quid. Ride it on a moped licence, because it'll only do about 30 mile an hour. This one is a special one. This is developed by Monkey Bikes UK, and I really like this. Look at this Ducati-style dry clutch on it. Look at the swinging arm, eccentric chain adjusters there. WP rear suspension. Upside down front forks. Look at it. There's even an oil cooler on the front here and a steering damper. And this colour scheme is very neat. Bit sort of Harley-esque, you know, like the Sportster, the orange and the white. But look, it looks really trick and neat. And these twin exhausts sticking up there, I mean, slightly mad, but you can't help but smile, can you? But the one I really like is the latest one they've developed, this Gorilla. It's good for a big monkey, isn't it? I'm sure gorillas won't mind that. Look at this one, absolutely beautiful. It's got all its bodywork on it. And round this side, I'll come here so I can show you better. Twin overhead camshaft engine. This engine starts off as 49cc. In fact, down there, it still says it is, but it's 115cc. 80 mile an hour performance out of this one. Again, it's got special forks to kick the front wheel out a bit. Beautiful little oil cooler up the front there. And again, this swinging arm at the back, all polished alloy, all specially made. Again, eccentric chain adjusters there. Look at the alloy wheels, neat little exhaust system. 80 mile an hour performance, a real little cracker. As I say, you just got to smile. If you can smile at 12,000 quid, that is. But it's good, isn't it? I like it. I'm going to grab a test ride on one of these too. Well, I'll tell you what, we've had enough monkeying round at this first ever Bike Live, and so I'll see you next week.
And on Two Wheels next week, more from the police. This time we're in Walsall to take a look at their new scooter. And don't miss this. More from Bike Live 2001, Kevin Carmichael on one wheel, quite literally.